Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Unlocked. I'm Peter, and today we're diving into one of the most powerful skills in communication, small talk. Have you ever felt awkward starting a conversation with a stranger? Or maybe you want to sound more natural and confident in English. Well, in this video you'll discover how to break the ice with simple, everyday questions. Real-life examples of small talk in cafés, parks, gyms, and even at the airport. Practical tips to keep the conversation flowing naturally without stress. So, do you want to watch until the end to unlock 50 natural small talk starters you can use today? If yes, make sure to hit subscribe, like, and share this video. That way you'll never miss more exciting lessons and fun ideas from English Unlocked. I remember when I first started learning English. One of the hardest things for me was to talk with new people. I felt shy. I felt my English was not good. But then I found something simple and powerful: small talk. Small talk means short, friendly conversation. It is not about deep ideas, it is about starting. When we start talking, we feel more free, and the other person feels happy too. This is how I made my first friends in English. For example, in a coffee shop, I smiled and said, "Busy morning, isn't it?" The man laughed and we started to talk. It was easy and natural. Later, on a train, I saw a woman with a book. I asked, "That book looks interesting. What is it about?" She smiled and told me her story. I felt proud because I could connect. At a conference, I met many people. I said, "Hi, I don't think we've met yet." It opened the door to a new friendship. In the park, I spoke to a man with a dog. "Your dog is so cute." He was happy, and soon we were talking about life in the city. Small talk also helped me at the gym, in restaurants, and even at the airport. I asked simple questions like, "Do you come here often?" Or, "Are you traveling for work or holiday?" Every time I asked, people answered. And slowly, my English became more natural. So my friend, small talk is not about big words. It is about being open, friendly, and curious. You smile, you ask, and you listen. This is how you grow your English step by step. And yes, sometimes you will feel nervous. But trust me, it works. Yes, and it feels amazing. One day I took a train to another city. I sat next to an old woman. She was reading a book. I wanted to talk, but I was not sure what to say. Then I asked, "That book looks interesting. What is it about?" She smiled and she told me it was a mystery story. Wow, I felt happy because I could start a talk with just one simple question. We looked more. I asked, "Do you like reading on trains?" She said yes, because it makes time go faster. Then I asked if this was her usual route. She told me she visits her daughter every Wednesday. I thought, how nice. When I looked outside, I said, "The countryside is beautiful, isn't it?" She agreed, and her smile made me feel more confident. Later, I went to a small business conference. There were many new faces. I saw a man standing alone with coffee. I walked up and said, "Hi, I don't think we've met yet." He answered, "Hello, I'm David. Nice to meet you." This small talk opened a new connection. We asked each other questions like, "What brings you here?" and "Have you been to this event before?" It was simple but powerful. I also joined another group. I asked a woman, "How did you get into this field?" She shared her story, starting as a teacher. Her eyes were bright when she said, "I love working with people." At that moment, I felt inspired. I thought, yes, English is not only grammar or words. It is about people, stories, and life. So, from a train to a conference, small talk gave me many new moments. Each question was like a small key. And with each key, a new door opened. That is why I believe small talk is not small at all. It is big for learning English and big for life. One afternoon I went for a walk in the park. The sun was warm, the air was fresh, and I felt relaxed. I sat on a bench next to a man with a dog. The dog was small and very cute. I smiled and said, "Your dog is so cute. What's his name?" He looked happy and said, "Thanks, his name is Max." We started talking more. I asked, "Is he friendly with other dogs?" And he said yes, very friendly. It was so easy, just one small question, and we had a nice talk. Later, I saw an old lady feeding birds. The birds were noisy and hungry. I said, "They seem hungry today." She laughed and said, "They always are." Then I asked, "Do you come here to relax?" She told me she loves watching the birds. I thought, wow, such a simple chat can make someone smile. It made me feel less shy, more brave. In the evening, I went to the gym. I stood next to another person stretching. I asked, "Do you come here often?" He said 3 times a week. I told him I go twice a week. We laughed together when I said, "This class is harder than I expected." He replied, "Tell me about it. My legs are shaking." I felt connected, like we were both learning, not only exercise but also how to share. So in the park, with dogs and birds, and in the gym with sweat and tired legs, I learned one big lesson. Small talk is everywhere. It can make strangers feel like friends. It can make your English stronger. And most of all, it can make your heart feel light. One thing I learn after many years is this: do not learn alone all the time. When I was young, I always sat with my book and tried to study English by myself. But later, I felt it was hard and boring. Then I started to join small groups. I talked with friends, and we shared simple English words. Sometimes we played games. Sometimes we told stories in English. It was fun and I felt less shy. I also found online communities. There, I could write small posts in English, and other people gave me comments. I was so happy when someone said, "Good job," or helped me fix a mistake. It felt like a family, and I had more energy to keep learning. Learning with others is not only about practice. It is also about feeling safe, about knowing you are not alone. When I had a bad day and felt I was not good at English, my friends told me, "Don't stop, you are growing." That gave me hope and courage. So I want to say this: if you feel tired or scared, find a group, even a small one. Share your English. Make mistakes together and laugh together. This way, learning will not feel heavy. It will feel like a journey with friends. After some time, I learned one more big lesson. We must listen and speak, not only read and write. At first, I only used books. I read grammar, I wrote notes, but when someone talked to me in English, I was lost. I could not answer. I felt so sad. Then I changed. I started to listen every day. I listened to short podcasts, simple stories, even songs. At first, I understood only 1 or 2 words. But I kept going. Day by day, my ears started to catch more sounds. I was so excited when I could understand a full sentence. After that, I tried to speak. It was not easy. My mouth was slow, and sometimes I forgot the words. But I told myself, it's okay. Mistakes are normal. I practiced with friends, with my phone, even talking to myself in the mirror. It felt funny, but it worked. Slowly, my speaking grew. I could say small things like, "How are you?" or "I like this." Then later, longer sentences came out more natural. It made me happy, like a child who learns to walk step by step. So remember this, English is not only in books. It is also in your ears and in your mouth. Listen more, speak more, and don't be afraid. The more you do it, the more English becomes a part of your life. One more thing I learned in my English journey is about habits. Learning English is not only about books or classes. It is about what you do every day. Small habits can make a big change. At first, I thought I needed many hours in one day. But later, I found out 10 or 15 minutes every day is more powerful than 3 hours in 1 week. So I made a plan. In the morning, I listened to one short podcast. At lunch, I wrote 1 or 2 sentences in English. At night, I read a small story before sleep. It was simple, but it worked. I also used English in daily life. For example, when I cooked, I read the recipe in English. When I walked, I named things around me in English: tree, car, sky. It was like a game, and I enjoyed it. Sometimes I felt lazy. I did not want to learn. But I remembered my dream, to speak English well. That dream gave me energy to keep going. Step by step, these habits became part of me. I did not feel stress. I felt happy because English was now inside my day, like food or water. So if you want to grow, make English your habit. Not big, not hard. Just small, but every day. And trust me, after some time, you will see the big change. One big lesson in my English journey is this: do not be afraid of mistakes. When I started, I wanted every word to be perfect. I was scared to speak because I thought people would laugh. But soon I learned, mistakes are normal. They are not a problem. They are part of learning. I remember one time I said, "I am boring" instead of "I am bored." Everyone laughed, even me. At first I felt shy. But then I thought, okay, now I will never forget this difference. And it was true. That mistake became my teacher. When you make mistakes, it means you are trying. If you never make mistakes, maybe you are not learning. So now, I even feel happy when I find a mistake, because it shows me the way to grow. Think about a child who learns to walk. The child falls many times. But the child stands up again, and step by step, learns to walk. We are the same with English. So please, do not be afraid. Speak. Right? Make mistakes and learn from them. It is the best way to move forward. And remember, every good English speaker today was once a learner who made many mistakes. Another important part of learning English is to connect with people. When I studied alone, I sometimes felt bored or lonely. I had no one to practice with. But when I found friends to learn together, everything changed. I joined a small English club in my town. At first, I was shy to speak, but the people were friendly. We played games, asked questions, and shared stories. It was fun and I forgot my fear. Later, I also made friends online. I talked with people from other countries. Sometimes we only spoke for 5 minutes, but it was enough to practice. I learned many new words, and I also learned about new cultures. That made me more excited to keep going. When you learn with others, you feel support. You are not alone. You can ask questions, share your mistakes, and help each other. This makes learning faster and more happy. So my advice is, find a partner, a group, or even one friend. Speak English together. Laugh together. Grow together. Learning English is not only about books. It is also about people, connection, and friendship. One more thing I learned after many years is the power of curiosity. When I was learning English, I sometimes felt tired or bored with books. But then I started to ask questions about everything around me in English. I asked, "What is this called?" Or, "How do you say this in English?" Even small questions helped me a lot. I also became curious about stories, songs, and videos in English. I tried to understand new words and phrases. When I did not know, I searched and listened again. It was fun and I learned naturally. Curiosity helped me notice small things. For example, in a cafe, I asked, "What do you usually order?" The person answered, and we started a small talk. On the train, I asked, "Is this your usual route?" Each simple question gave me new words and confidence. Curiosity also made me brave. I was not afraid to speak or make mistakes because I wanted to know and learn. It made learning English a daily adventure. Even small steps, like asking one question or listening to a short story, made me stronger. So my advice is, be curious. Ask, explore, listen, and try. Curiosity will open new doors in English, and it will make learning more exciting and alive. One last lesson I want to share is about patience and persistence. Learning English is a long journey. At first, I wanted to speak perfectly fast. I wanted to understand every word in a story. But it did not work. I got frustrated and sometimes thought about stopping. Then I realized something important. English is like planting a tree. You water it every day, give it sun and wait. Little by little, it grows. One day, it becomes strong and tall. I started to be patient. I practiced a little every day. I listened, spoke, read, and wrote a few minutes daily. Some days I learned more, some days less. It was okay because every small step mattered. I also learned to celebrate small wins. When I could ask a question in English, I felt proud. When I understood a story, I smiled. These small successes kept me motivated. So my advice is simple. Do not rush. Keep learning every day, even a little. Be patient with yourself and keep going. Persistence and small steps will bring big results in English. And one day, You will look back and see how far you have come. And that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed these stories and tips, don't forget to subscribe to English Unlocked for more fun and easy lessons. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to see you next time. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and see you soon.